Hello and welcome to Village Yoga Sedona on-demand classes. Today's class is part of the pregnancy series where we will just be connecting to our bodies and establishing a relationship to stretching our lower spine, our back through basic movements. And today, at 29 weeks pregnant, we will do the class together. So regardless of where you're at in your pregnancy, remember that this is your body. So if at any point you need to pause, take a sip of water, relax, lay back on your back, please do so. Today's class will be focused on simple stretches. If you saw the previous video that was taken several weeks back, we did more of a yang style. It was a 45-minute class that involved deeper holds, more stretching. And today we will include a more yin approach. So wherever you're at in your pregnancy, know that you can go back to the previous video from Village Yoga On Demand class options, or we can just sit back in together to this class today for a yin practice. There are several options available for you. So we're going to begin with a mat in water. If you do prefer having blocks, please have those, as many as you need. Again, this is your practice. So today, first we're going to begin with our feet a little bit wider than hip width distance, toes pointing out, and sitting back into a yogi squat. So in this yogi squat, we're pushing our elbows against our knees, lifting our chest up, and just sitting our hips back and forth, right and left. Take a big inhale through the nose and a big exhale out the mouth. Sinking into this yin practice today, connecting to our bodies. Breathe. Now, in the previous class, I made it very clear and important that the message from that class was to really listen to your body. And I just want to bring that into class today, that as pregnancy progresses, it's really important that we know what we need. So if you do have to go to the bathroom, do need to get a drink of water, or simply need to get out of a posture because it's being held for too long, that's okay. Everybody is different, and our hips are going to look different at different stages, and that's important to recognize as well. As we're in this yogi squat, just pay attention to your breath. Pay attention to what's going on to the hips, the knees. This is a very healthy posture for pregnancy. My doula, my midwife highly recommend this. It's very safe. Breathe. Place your hands onto the mat or the floor in front of you. Push forward, lift your hips up, and fold forward now, releasing the tension in the back and the hips and the calves and the ankles. Breathe. Rock forward, rock back, reversing the blood flow. Still fully connected to our breath. Breathe. Perhaps you want to grab your elbows, bend your knees a little bit, and just rock right and left, left and right. Place your hands down onto the mat again. Come down to your knees. Sit down on your knees. Sit back on your ankles. Place your hands onto your hips. If it feels more comfortable to separate your knees in this posture, please do so. And just breathe. Placing our hands on our thighs right above the kneecaps. Spine is straight, eyes are closed, breath is connected. We're just going to take a big inhale through the nose and a big exhale out the mouth. Now we're going to count to 4 as we inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. And exhale a slow 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're just reconnecting back to our bodies here today. Again, this is more of a yin style practice. So we're here to establish a relationship with perhaps parts of our body that have been a little bit more dormant. If you're lying around more often, that's okay. It is highly recommended to take long walks though. If you're not doing any extreme exercises, the least you can do for yourself is some mild yoga and some long walking. Breathe. Turn around or facing forward, depending on where you're positioned. Vertically on the mat, hands facing forward, knees on the mat, hip width distance, ankles flat. Let's do some cat-cows. Using your breath to guide you, really connecting with the spine and taking it slowly here. Noticing how much more weight is in the front. Perhaps when you tuck into your cat posture, you can lift your shoulders up a little bit more. Good. Maybe do a little bit more rolling. And we're just going to keep arching, coming back into our cat. Noticing our ankles. Curl, round, arch. Do this a few more times on your mat. One more. Come into a neutral tabletop position. Open up your knees. Sit your hips back. Open up your knees depending on how far along you are in your pregnancy, and bring your elbows down. So now we're in somewhat of a child's pose with the support of our elbows, with the strength of our shoulders, and with the relationship and connection to our neck. So now, with full control of our neck, we're going to release our neck down, grab behind the neck, and just breathe here for a moment. 10 fingers interlace grip. Breathing in and out through the nose. Place your hands back onto the mat. Lift yourself on up. Press your knees a little bit closer together and come back into that neutral tabletop position. Good. Now cross your ankles behind you, sit your hips back and roll backwards. Now you're in a crisscross applesauce position. Bring that right leg out. Good. Stretch your arms up. Turn to the right, tuck your chin to your chest and round down. If you need to bend that front knee, I'm going to face the front camera so you can see my positioning. If you need to bend that front knee, that's okay. Here's a modification. If this doesn't feel comfortable, another modification would be grabbing the big toe and placing your left hand onto your left hip. So we have 2 options for modification. And if this doesn't feel comfortable, then simply place your right hand on top of the right knee with your left hand on your left hip. I'm going to go back to phase 1, where my forehead is on my knee. Inhale, breathing. Bring Your arms up, left leg out, right foot, left thigh, stretch up, turn to the left, and go down. Forehead onto knee. Modification to bend the knee. Another modification to grab the big toe, placing your right hand on the hip. And another modification would be placing your left hand on top of the left knee with your right hand on your right hip. I'm going to go back to phase 1 with my forehead on my knee. Inhale, breathing, come up. Face back onto your mat, lying on your back. Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable for you, then a modification would be to sit up and do the postures with one straight leg and one leg bent, as you can see here. This is the modification if the laying on your back does not serve you today. I'm going to do this posture laying on my back. Spine straight on the mat, palms facing up, heels on the floor, toes fall open, breathe. Again, if this doesn't serve you, please sit up. We're going to do wind removing pose here. So we're going to grab our knees from the outside, grabbing underneath the knee, pulling the knee out and down. Breathing. Accessing the ascending colon. Other side, right leg down, left knee bent, pulling the knee out and down, avoiding the rib cage, descending colon. So if you're on the ground, if you're sitting up, then your back is straight, your right leg is straight, and your left knee is bent. Same as we're doing on our backs, except you're sitting up. Bring that left foot down. Now bend both knees and grab your feet from the outside, opening up the knees and rocking right and left, feeling into those hips. Breathing in, exhaling and letting it go. Now, if it serves you here today, you can stay here, or you can grab your big toe with your right peace finger and lift that right leg straight. Breathing. Bring that right foot down. Grab your left toe with your left peace fingers and straighten that leg. Bring that left foot down. Place both feet onto the mat and now lift your hips up. Tightening your glutes, lifting your hips up, breathing. Slowly lowering it down. Now place your right ankle on your left thigh. If laying back does not serve you, you will be doing all of these postures sitting up. Breathe. Bring that right leg up and bring it down. Bend the left foot, placing your left ankle on your right thigh, and breathe. Straighten out that left leg up and bring it down. Now, with our legs straight, bring your hands underneath your glutes, palms facing down, thumbs touching one another, and hips lifting up. Palms facing down like so, tucking your elbows as much as possible underneath the back. Now, with one breath, I'm going to push my head against the floor, lift my hips up, point my toes. This is the reverse cobra, since we can't do it on our belly. Lift up, breathe. The more advanced we get into this posture, the more our elbows will be underneath our body. And change. Ideally, when you come out of that posture, you can turn around and just lie on your left side. It is recommended in the 26-2 Rajashri book for pregnancy prenatal yoga that you're always lying on your left-hand side in between postures, like so. Left hand straight, right hand bent, knees a little bit bent, just breathing. Just breathe. We're going to do that again. Lie on our backs. Lift your hips up and place your hands underneath your hips. Palms facing down, thumbs touching one another. Point your toes. Tighten your knees. And this should feel really good on the lower spine. A little bit intense, but a lot of relief. Inhale, breathing. Tuck your elbows in a little bit more. Push your head against the floor and lift your chest up. Breathe. Point the toes and change. Slide your head back down and lie on the left side of your body. Bending that right hand, straightening that left arm, bending your knees, and just breathing. Push yourself up, and we're going to come into a fixed firm position. So our knees are together, our ankles are hip width apart. Sit your hips between your heels. It's important here that your feet are not sickling and your glutes are touching the floor. So you're not sitting on your heels, you're precisely in between the heels. And for the safety of your knees in this posture, it's incredibly important that you keep your knees on the floor throughout the entire posture. If you need to separate them wider, that's okay, but they need to stay firm on the ground and not lift up for the entrance and the exit. So I'm gonna bring my knees together here, placing one hand on right sole of foot, left hand left sole of foot, right elbow goes down, left elbow goes down, top of head touches the mat, back of head, arms over your head, grab the elbows, tuck your chin to your chest, lift your chest up, beautiful, fix firm. Listen to your knees in this posture. Any intensity means back off. To exit the posture, placing your elbows onto the mat first, lift your chest up, untuck your toes, turn around and lie on your left hand side. relax. Breathing in and out through the nose. Push yourself on up. Now for camel pose. Knees are hip width distance. Ankles are flat on the floor. Place your hands onto your hips. Lift your chest up, drop your head back. Breathe. If you want to take this posture further, grab onto your ankles, your heels, full palm to heel connection. Push your hips forward, drop your head back, and breathe. Lift your chest up. Placing your hands onto your hips, lift your chest up. Sit your hips back, and now lie sideways on your left hand side for a 20-second Savasana. Breathe. Push yourself on up. Come into a tabletop position on your mat. And now from this posture, bend your right knee, placing your right knee between your hands, flexing your right foot, and just coming into a cobra pose. If you want to bring your elbows down, you can do so. If this doesn't feel comfortable, then just stay up, connecting to that hip. And just breathing. Maybe you want to place your hands and push it against the knee. We're just breathing. And in addition to the message from the previous class about the importance of listening to our bodies, it's also incredibly important to nourish your body at this time. So nourish it with the thoughts that you think, nourish it with the people that you spend time with, nourish it with the stories that are told about pregnancy, and especially nourish it with the foods that you are putting into your system. So whatever comes up first for you, that's beautiful. Just be mindful that you're nourishing yourself. The food that you eat is the fuel that you give to your baby, and so are the stories and the people and everything mentioned previously. Now, with our hands flat on the floor, we're going to untuck our ankle and step your right foot back, coming into a downward facing dog. If this doesn't feel comfortable for you, simply come down to your knees. No problem. Or stay up in that downward facing dog. Now bend the left knee at the hands. Breathe. Left foot flexed. Just connecting to that left hip. Breathing. Maybe you want to place your hands onto that left knee, access a little bit deeper in the lower spine, or just keep your hands down. Using our breath to nourish our entire system. Using our breath to communicate with our baby. Using our voice to communicate beautiful words. Slowly bring that right leg around and come into a butterfly posture. Heels and toes together. And just breathe. Place your right hand on your right knee. Push that knee down. And we're not twisting from the belly, but we are twisting our shoulders a little bit. Coming back up, left hand, left knee, not twisting from the belly, just twisting from the shoulders a little bit. We're going to bring that right leg out again, stretch our arms up, and just see where we're at from the posture that we did in the beginning of class today. Do we feel deeper? Do we feel a bit more connected to our hips? Breathe. Stretch up, left leg out, right leg in, turn to the left, and come down. I will remind you of your modifications here. Bent knee, grab toe, hand on top of knee. Stretch up, bring that right leg out, and open up the hips, the legs as much as you feel comfortable here, and just lean forward. Maybe you go on your elbows, maybe you use your hands for support. Breathe. Push yourself on up. Place your hands behind you. Lift your chest up. Flex your feet. Point your toes. Flex your feet. Point your toes. Lift your chest up. Breathe. Bring your feet in. Lie back on your back. Come down onto your elbows with your neck up and just breathe here. Point your toes, feet are together. Elbows are at a 90-degree angle, facing forward or dropping your head back. I kind of like facing forward. For me, this really accesses my lower spine. So I do feel a lot of relief in the lower spine from this posture. I'm going to flex, point, flex, point. I'm going to use the strength of my legs to push myself up. Good. Now we're going to stay here with our feet on the ground and our legs wide, and just shift our hips right and left, left and right. It's really important to stay mobile, stay connected to the hips throughout pregnancy. They're opening, the pelvis is moving. So how can we use movement to really just feel better in our bodies as all these changes are occurring? Good. Now place your feet forward onto the mat. Use your strength to push yourself on up and come into that initial squat position we met at in the beginning of class. Breathing, knees wide, lifting our chest up. Breathe here for a moment or so. Place your right hand down, Lift your left arm up. Place your left hand down. Lift your right arm up. Again, right hand down, left arm up. Left hand down, right arm up. Hands come down, interlace behind your head. Inhale, breathing. Slowly come up. Facing sideways. Make sure your heels are in a line and your back foot is at a 45-degree angle like so. Place your palms into a prayer position behind your back and just fold forward as much as you feel comfortable doing. If you can touch your forehead to your knee, great. Slowly come back up. Turn and face forward. Hands are still in prayer position. Turn to the left. Heels are in a line, same plank of wood. Back foot is at a 45-degree angle. And slowly come down. If you can touch your forehead to your knee, great. If not, bend your knee. Breathe. Slowly come up. Face forward. Separate your feet. Toes can face out a little bit. Hands onto your hips. And fold forward. Placing your hands onto the mat in front of you. And just breathe. Rock your hips right and left and right. Breathing. Saying yes, saying no. Slowly heel toe your feet together and roll yourself on up. And just breathe here for a moment. Bring your arms up over your head sideways. Interlace your fingers. Release your index fingers, thumbs cross. Stretch right and left and right. You are probably going to feel a lot better with your hands together, which is definitely important in this posture. But you have a choice, just pause for a moment, that your feet are hip-width distance or together. Generally, this posture half moon is done with your feet close, but as you get further along in your pregnancy, you're going to want your feet wider. So we'll begin again. Stretch up, palms together, elbows locked by your ears. Go right and left. Stop in the middle. Place your hands onto your hips. Push your hips forward, drop your head back. Slowly lift yourself on up. Separate your feet. We meet in our squat. Breathe. Turn around and lie on your back or on the left side of your body. Perhaps the left side of your body could feel better because sometimes the back, there's a bit of too much compression. So I'm going to lie on my back because that serves me. However, I will demonstrate lying on the left-hand side again. Left arm straight, right arm bent, both knees bent. Breathe. This actually feels better right now, so I'll stay lying on the left-hand side. And just stay lying on your mat here, sinking your body deeper, connecting to your baby, connecting to the blood flow, connecting to the organs, connecting to the work that your system is doing in order to grow another human. And honoring yourself here today for showing up on your mat, for taking this opportunity to carve out time for yourself to be in a comfortable space in the comfort of your home, to be guided. And sometimes that is what is most important, is that when we can't guide ourselves, how about we just sit back and allow someone else to guide us? That's the beauty in on-demand classes. That's the beauty in yoga, in person, on demand. So stay lying here for another 2 to 5 minutes. Stay restful in your peaceful state. And as you lie there, I'm going to take you through a guided meditation where we just sink deeper into our bodies, releasing tension in our toes, ankles, knees, hips, thighs. We connect deeply to our belly, connecting deeply to our baby. We believe sometimes that it's just us. However, this is teamwork, and our baby hears us, our baby connects with us, and we're going through this process together. So as we sink deeper into our belly, we release the tension in our shoulders, we release the tension in our jaw, in our face. We use our breath to create more oxygen in our entire system, to allow blood flow deeper in our bodies, to release tension in the nervous system. We unfurry our brow, and we breathe. With each breath, we get deeper into our bodies. With each breath, we connect more to our baby. With each breath, we can hear our baby louder. And we don't have to hear him or her now, but we do now bear witness to this universal truth that it's not just us, but we are working together with our baby to make this happen. So as we lie here together, the pregnant mamas on this call, we remind ourselves that we can speak to, communicate with, and help our baby through just as much as we guide ourselves. And perhaps there is an intention that you have for your pregnancy, for the day that your baby arrives, and perhaps you want to develop a conversation with your baby about what you want this to look like. How can you help her make this easier for you? Sink deeper into your body. Connect deeper with your family, with the ones you love, with the frustrating ones in your life, knowing very well that the most frustrating people in our lives need the most love. So as we use our breath to guide us deeper in through this deep savasana meditation, the light in me sees the light in you. Take your time to get up today. Again, I honor you for showing up on your mat. A friendly reminder that this is the second yoga pregnancy course that has been filmed, with a few more to come while I progress in this pregnancy. So stay tuned for more classes. The next one will be different than the first two, and they'll always have their unique twist. So, You never know what you're going to get, but it's always going to be something amazing, and it's never going to be too intense. Namaste and thank you. This is Village Yoga Sedona on-demand classes. Pregnancy series is offered for free, and we have plenty of options available for your family, your friends, your husband, your partner. When you can't show up at the studio, we are there for you. Namaste.